One of the critical areas of concern regarding Jehovah's Witnesses is their response, or lack thereof, to public disasters and crises. Despite being registered as a charitable organization in many countries, Jehovah's Witnesses do not sufficiently engage in broader public disaster relief efforts. My hometown in South Africa recently suffered devastating floods. It destroyed infrastructure, roads, and homes. It was heartwarming to see how the communities rallied and banded together to assist those affected by the devastation. Churches and NGOs opened their halls to house and accommodate those who have been displaced and provided food, clothing, and shelter to many who lost everything in the flood. I watched the events unfold, and there were no reports of the Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall being open to aid in the community it was situated in. On the other side of the world, since April the 30th, the state of Rio Grande do Sul suffered one of the worst floods in the history of Brazil, with 140 plus deaths, 130 missing, and over half a million people displaced from their homes. In and amongst the chaos, the local branch sent a letter to the local Jehovah's Witnesses asking them not to provide aid to the flood victims on their own, but rather to donate to the organization. Here's a translation from a letter dated May the 10th. To all elders, humanitarian aid to our brothers from Rio Grande do Sul. Whenever a disaster happens, the provided aid must be well organized and coordinated in an efficient manner. That way, we avoid duplicated efforts, confusion, and waste of money and materials, things that generally happens when brothers act on their own. As of now, only the congregation from the state of Santa Catarina have been invited to participate in the sending of donations. Therefore, if your congregation has not been invited yet, instruct the publishers to not make personal arrangements to send donations. As the announcement to be read to the congregation help brothers to avoid online crowdfunding efforts. Naturally, besides instructing the publishers, we trust you continue to give a good example in following the guidance from Jehovah's organization. Now, to understand the response of Jehovah's Witnesses to public disasters, it is crucial to first comprehend their organizational structure. The Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses, centrally controls their activities worldwide. This hierarchical structure ensures uniformity in doctrine and practice across the globe. Local congregations are directed by the elders who implement the policies and instructions from the central organization. This centralized control extends to how Jehovah's Witnesses respond to disasters. The Watchtower Society issues guidelines on how members should react and what kind of assistance they should offer. This top down approach often limits individual congregations' ability to engage in spontaneous or locally driven relief efforts, which is often needed in the moment. Jehovah's Witnesses are registered as a charitable organization in many countries, which brings certain expectations regarding their contribution to public welfare. Charitable status often implies an organization will participate in activities that benefit the wider community, especially during crisis. This includes providing shelter, food, medical aid, and other forms of support. However, the charitable activities of Jehovah's Witnesses are primarily focused on religious and evangelical work. They are known for their door to door evangelism, distribution of religious literature, and conducting Bible studies. While these activities fall within the realm of charitable work from a religious perspective, they do not address the immediate physical needs of the broader public during disasters. Kingdom halls and places of worship for Jehovah's Witnesses are strategically located in communities worldwide, and these buildings could potentially serve as shelters, distribution centers, or meeting points during disasters. However, there is scant evidence that kingdom halls are made available for such purposes. A few factors contribute to this underutilization. Firstly, the primary function of kingdom halls is to serve as a venue for worship and religious instruction. The central organization might be reluctant to repurpose these spaces for secular uses, even temporarily. Secondly, Jehovah's Witnesses emphasize maintaining a distinct separation from worldly activities, which can include broader community engagement outside their religious mandate. Their doctrine significantly influenced their approach to disaster relief. One core belief is the imminent end of the current world system, which they refer to as Armageddon. This outlook shapes their priorities and activities, focusing on spiritual preparedness rather than addressing temporal concerns. and their literature often stresses the importance of spiritual over physical salvation. As a result, Jehovah's Witnesses may prioritize evangelistic efforts during disasters, viewing such times as opportunities to spread their message rather than engage in conventional relief activities. This doctrinal stance can lead to a lack of compassion or practical assistance to those in immediate need, and this was an issue of concern for me when I was an active member. To critically evaluate the role of Jehovah's Witnesses in disaster relief, it is helpful to examine specific case studies. And here are a few notable examples. Hurricane Katrina, in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, many religious and secular organizations mobilized to provide relief for the affected populations. Jehovah's Witnesses did assist their members in the region, providing financial aid and reconstruction help to fellow witnesses. However, there was little evidence of significant efforts to assist the broader non-witness community. The Haiti earthquake in 2010, similarly, after the devastating earthquake in Haiti, Jehovah's Witnesses organized relief efforts primarily aimed at their members. While this internal support is commendable, it highlights a pattern of inward focused assistance rather than broad community outreach. And of course, in 2011, during the uh, earthquake and tsunami in Japan, um, Jehovah's Witnesses again focused on helping their own members. Reports indicate that they provided housing, supplies, and reconstruction assistance to affected witnesses, but their involvement in wider community relief was limited. This illustrates a consistent approach. Jehovah's Witnesses are diligent in supporting their members, but often do not extend this assistance to the broader community during disasters. Comparing the disaster response efforts of Jehovah's Witnesses with other religious organizations can provide additional context. Many religious groups have well established disaster relief programs. These organizations frequently open their places of worship to the public, offer food and shelter, and work with government and non governmental organizations to coordinate relief efforts. The contrast is stark. While Jehovah's Witnesses may offer some level of internal support, they do not engage in the same level of public disaster relief. This difference raises questions about the role and responsibilities of religious organizations registered as charities. The reluctance of Jehovah's Witnesses to engage in broader disaster relief raises several ethical questions. As a registered charity, there is an implicit social contract to contribute to the common good, especially in times of crisis. The inward focused relief efforts can be perceived as insular and exclusive, potentially damaging the public perception of the organization. Moreover, the ethical implications extend to the use of resources. Kingdom halls funded by donations and enjoying tax exempt status could serve as valuable community assets during disasters. Their non utilization for public benefit during such times can be seen as a failure to fulfill their charitable mandate. And of course, the governing body offers theological justifications for their approach. They emphasize spiritual salvation and preparedness for the end times as paramount. Organizational statements often highlight their relief efforts within the community of believers, portraying these actions as sufficient fulfillment of their charitable responsibilities. However, these justifications do not always resonate with broader societal expectations. The public often expects religious organizations to play a more active role in humanitarian efforts, regardless of doctrinal differences. While the current approach of Jehovah's Witnesses to disaster relief is shaped by doctrinal beliefs and organizational policies, there is potential for change. Increasing awareness of the broader public's expectations and the ethical responsibilities of being a registered charity could prompt a re-evaluation of their disaster response strategies. And by re-examining their approach and considering more inclusive strategies, Jehovah's Witnesses have the potential to enhance their contribution to disaster relief, aligning their charitable status with the broader public good. This shift would not only fulfill societal expectations, but also reflect the so called compassionate values, which is supposed to be central to their faith.